Hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you on this fine Thursday evening, afternoon, morning, depending on where you are, Brother Reggie. I should say that the purpose of the Demetra Case Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation, and you are family. Also, like to say a big giant thank you to my moderators. You are the best to ever do it. Could not and would not do it without you. Today, we're going to be talking about Angela Rye. Y'all know who Angela Rye is. Well, we're talking about Angela Rye's delusion about the Democrats is why the party is cooked. Of course, I'll get all into that. She was on the Breakfast Club today, at least it aired today, right? And it was about 45 minutes longer. So I was actually working out and I was like, oh, let me see what I can, watch the workout to. And it was just kind of one of the first things to pop up on YouTube. And I was like, okay, it's interesting. So I watched it. And, I try really to watch things objectively, right? Like not going there with preconceived notions, although I do have some about Angela Rye and a whole lot of things, but I try to be open-minded. And I was like, oh, she didn't disappoint. I'll say that. So I'll go over some key points and I'll show y'all a snippet of what, really has me kind of bothered about what she said. But in the meantime, let's see who else is on here before I get into it, giving everybody a chance to come on here. African Native, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. JJ Mars, what's going on? It says, yeah, they're done. All these cowardly Black politicians just want to do is get a paycheck and retirement from the Democrats. Possibly. Yes, indeed. Brother Reggie, thank you so much. And ask everybody to hit the like button. You say Angela Rye, bread down. Strikes again. Hey, Sister Shirley, how you doing? Candy, what's up? Vanessa, hope you're having a great day. William, how are you? Baraka, how you doing? Cool International, I think that's how it is. You say it, how you doing? Who else? Mike, nice. How are you? Ernest, what's going on? And did Joe next? And dig? I'm going to say that wrong, so I'll just say, how you doing? You say, she's a plant. I was trying to really see how to say your name. Indigo X, is that how you say it? Forgive me if I mispronounced that wrong. Five Rings, how you doing? It says peace, power, and reparations, FBA family. Yes, indeed. Super Patriot. How are you? Says yes, and you're always correct. Well, not always. Maybe 49% of the time. Mad Dog, I'm doing well. How about yourself? Sister Shirley says, Angela Rye chooses to be ignorant because facing the truth is too painful. I mean, you might be on to something because she's a very smart lady, right? Very accomplished. I think she's a lawyer, has her own firm, and she's here and there, everywhere. She's, engaged in the politics. She's very smart. But some of the things that she says and or does not say, it's awful, almost like it's willful, right? Of course, if you're thinking about benign neglect, that's something not only that the Republicans, well, for the Republicans, it's not even benign, right? They're like, yeah, we neglecting y'all. But for the Democrats, it's not just those in the White House. It's all of the Democrats. They participate in that benign neglect, right? We'll just pretend like it's not an issue, but we'll skirt around it. We might touch on a little bit, but we're not really going, give it the conversation that it needs, right? So that's kind of how I see her. Very smart, but she knows what to say and what not to say. Let's see who else is on here. Christina, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Diane, how are you? Terry, hope you're having a great day. Tony, what's up? He says Philly in the building. Did they get that trash up yet? Because I know they were still working on it. And I'm just seeing who else came on here. Sarah, how you doing? He says Team Virginia in the building. Okay, no reparation, no vote. Yes, you made it. Yay! All right. So let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. Okay, so as I was saying, I was watching Angela Rye on the Breakfast Club. And again, for those of y'all who don't know who she is, you see her picture on the thumbnail, but I'm going to put her picture back up again when you hear the snippet of the video. But she's an attorney, from what I understand. political pundit. Of course, you guys have seen her all on television for a few years now, right? Of course, infamously, y'all saw her cry as well when she was trying to appeal to, I guess he was a Republican, that all we as Black people want is respect or something like that. And she just wanted them to know, how it feels and all that. And she's like boo-hooing, right? Like type of thing. So, of course, a lot of people never let her live that down because it's like, why are you on TV crying to them folks? They don't care. Our ancestors cried a lot and they still didn't care, right? So why do you think you getting on TV crying is going to make them change their mind about us? So anyway, that's who she is in a nutshell. So it started out during the interview. And these are some of the key points that I took away. So she says it's fun and games, ignoring the immigration situation until it's your Haitian cousin getting deported, right? And so I'm like, well, if your Haitian cousin is getting deported, okay, is he or is he not here in the country legally? Because that's really the issue, right? Now, of course, Trump and them said they was deporting criminals, but they seemed like they deporting everybody, right? So that was an appeal to us to say, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't sit it out. Maybe we should care. Maybe we should get involved. Because, of course, you guys know many Black people are like, I'm good, right? I got other stuff to do, right? Because the immigrants that are coming in here and people that are, attached to them, they don't care about Black Americans, never have, never will. So why do we care, right? But we'll care when our Haitian cousin gets deported. She was also asked about Biden's mental decline, and she says, well, to me, he seems fine. I mean, from what I see, that's what she said. From what I see, he seems fine. And, Charlamagne kind of pushed back like, really? Because he talked about Jake Trapper's book and all of that. And, so she said, to me, he looks fine. Okay. Then Marilyn Mosby came up. Of course, you guys know that she was the district attorney in Baltimore that was found guilty on real estate fraud and all that other stuff. Well, recently she was pardoned on 2 of the counts, but the perjury, I think they let that stick. But she was asked, how does she feel that Biden did not pardon her, even though they asked him to, but he pardoned his whole family and all of that. She said it bothered her, but she knew that there were people in the White House that were actively fighting for her to be pardoned, which to me, I'm like, well, if y'all were actively fighting for her to be pardoned, to me, that sounds like somebody was like, hey, Biden, what about Maryland? What about Maryland? This is unfair, which I too think it was unfair what happened to Marilyn Mosby. I think that she got a raw deal. But if people were actively fighting for her in the White House, why wasn't Biden listening? Especially the Black women who he, big up a lot, said was the backbone, and everybody said was the backbone of the Democrat Party. Kamala's allegedly a Black woman. All these Black women, and whoever was trying to appeal to him, hey, why are you pardoning your son Hunter? How about Maryland? And he was, so she kind of dismissed that as well. Then they talked about the Target boycott. She talked about the churches and other organizations taking money from Target, during the boycott, especially during the Essence Festival, which she says she was at. But she says, she was there, I guess, supporting, or, maybe she was already slated to be there. But she also says, well, the organizations that took the money, now we see how slavery happened. Now I'm in my bathroom because, I was in my room. So I'm in the bathroom and I listened to it. And I'm like, did she say that's how slavery happened? So I'm assuming that she was trying to correlate that the churches and all the other organizations that took money from Target during the boycott are selling us out, right? So I guess she was saying too that we were sold out during slavery, perhaps by our own people. And that's how slavery happened. And I'm like, is she serious? Like, what? So anyway, that kind of struck, a bad nerve with me as well. So she also repeated her go-to talking points of the government was built on our backs. Y'all know she always talk about, we built this joint for free and all of that. But she neglected to say how her party was willing to allow immigrants to benefit from all of that. Listen, she ain't telling us nothing we didn't know, right? We know that this country was built off the backs of our ancestors, but yet nothing about with that work. They were all right with all those immigrants coming over here and getting stuff that we didn't get, right? She just glossed all over that, okay? Then she also said, well, it's people that look like us that are going to be going to suffer basically under Trump's administration and his policies. And I think Charlamagne asked her, well, how so? Then she didn't really get too much into it, but, just the same old talking points, we're going to suffer the most, this, that, and the other. Never really didn't answer the question, but it's like, I want to know too, how are we going to suffer the most, more so than we've already been suffering under Biden's administration, Obama, Bush, Reagan, any of them? What is he going to do differently to us than any other administration has already done or not done, right? Never answered that. And then lastly, she said, we should focus on us. I'm like, okay, here we go. Because now they're trying to shift to that, right? Oh, well, we need to focus on us. But we should have compassion for everybody else. Now, to me, I hear, well, y'all need to get out there and put some boots on the ground and help these, immigrants and everybody else protest. That's kind of still what I heard. But what struck a nerve with me the most was this.
Yeah, Ms. Rye.
But I was going to say that it was humbling, like to go to a church and meet this woman with 2 young kids, like under 3, who made a determination to come sit with us and get her light bill paid and didn't know if the car would make it to work. She had to get a jump at the church. Wow. Another woman who was a teacher in Atlanta who said that she goes to teach our students every day and then goes to sleep in her car at night. There's so many stories like that. We had a woman who volunteered with us in Newark who lives in a Red Roof Inn, and every day she is bringing groceries back home to the seniors who live in that facility, but she's struggling too.
Okay. So, as y'all saw there, now that's the part that really struck a nerve with me, and I'm going to tell y'all why. It was so many comments, I'm going to try to catch up. It struck a nerve with me because, and she's on this tour, I think it's called the People Power Tour or something like that, where they go all over, and she says that she kind of realized that she was out of touch. She said Charlamagne had reminded her of that, I guess, during their private conversations, that she's out of touch really kind of with the people. So she decided to go on this tour where she's going to be talking to everybody and, all of that. So this is where she learned these things from. But I'm like, so you met a woman who came to the church to get her light bill paid, but then her car broke down in the parking lot. You talked to another lady who was a teacher, I think she said, and sleeping in the car. Then another lady who was living at the Red Roof Inn, and that's like a motel, hotel type of situation. But she would, do her best to try to feed seniors and things like that. And I'm like, so you're talking to these people who got these hardships, but again, your party and Kamala, because Kamala is her homegirl, right? She don't never want Kamala to take any blame for nothing. If you ever listen to her talk about Kamala, she never, ever wants her to be blamed for nothing. But it's like Kamala, the Democrats, and Biden, they were okay with bringing all these immigrants over here, getting all this stuff. That lady that was sleeping in her car, she didn't get none of that stuff that the immigrants were getting. That lady whose car broke down as she was trying to get a light bill paid, she wasn't getting none of that stuff that the immigrants were getting. And the woman who's feeding people, she wasn't getting none of it. And the people she was feeding wasn't getting none of it. But yet you out there talking to these people, I hope that while she's out there talking to these people, she said, yes, I am from the party, the Democrats, that were okay with you sleeping in your car, but was all right with immigrants coming over here. In fact, we told them to come over here. We told them, come over here. They got phones, they got food, they got housing, they got money, they got education. They was able to buy houses. They were able to get it all. Brand new socks and drawers. But yes, you lady, you're sleeping in your car. See what I'm saying? So that's why I said that her delusion is why they're cooked. Because even still, and even throughout her interview was Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, Trump. Then she even talked about the Obamas, right? She was asked, about the Obamas because, Michelle has this podcast, and I guess Barack went on there and they was talking about how they're still in love and this, that, and the other. Well, she kind of took exception to that. She was like, that's great, but we need them to come out here and basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but we need them to get active. And people are mad at her because of that point. And I said, with all the foolishness that she said on that podcast with the Breakfast Club, That's why y'all mad at, because she, is mad that Obama and Michelle won't get out there and get active in politics. I mean, damn, the man did serve 2 terms as the president. Now, he didn't do a doggone thing for black people, but he was president, right? And Michelle never wanted to be in politics, but she's mad at that. So, yeah, the Democrats are cooked, because I believe her attitude is prevalent throughout the Democrat Party. We'll continue to blame Trump. We'll take no blame at all, because even Charlemagne was like, don't you have the Democrats to blame for him being in office? Well, how so? Well, because, so many people voted for Trump. She still didn't want to concede that point. Like, okay, maybe those people that voted for Trump were disenfranchised, right? So anyway, that's enough. I'm going to get back into the comment section. Let me remove her completely. All right. So I see there's a whole lot of y'all that's commented. So let me try to catch up as best I can. And thank you for bearing with me, Amber. I see you in here. I can only imagine what you're saying. It's okay. See where I left off. I think I left off at Sarah. How you doing? Hope you doing. No, I said hi to you. I say hi again. Jupiter, how you doing? Says Angela Rye with the lettuce on the side. With the lettuce on the side with her corny. He says, a Native Land podcast show is nothing but an out-of-touch show full of boulets and people who are not Black American. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. Alice, how you doing? I should say Miss Alice. Hope you're doing well. It says, could you please enlighten me on Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett? Last thing I heard about Jasmine Crockett, she's kind of feeling away about the Democrat Party because they said that she's not a team player. So she says she's going to go into the Black church right now. That's where she's going to focus her energy. So I don't know what's going on with her. She says she was going to sit down for a while in regards to the Democrats. Sagittarius Goddess, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Jay Wiggum, how you doing? You says, Sister K, good evening. Back at you. Anthony, how you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Marjorie, how you doing? Beverly White, how are you? King Shaw, what is going on? Amber says Trump supporters lost friends and family because we supported someone who was found guilty felonies and found liable for sexual abuse. Trump's message now, I don't want their support anymore. Yeah, that's an issue too. Trump is gonna I think he's gonna get a rude awakening, because MAGA wants whoever was on Epstein Island messing with kids to be held accountable, as they should, right? So this is going to get very interesting. But he did say, he doesn't need their support if that's how they feel. So going to get very interesting. I will concede that. By the time 103, how you doing? Brother Reddy says they need to check Angela's mental decline. Geez. I don't know. Ursa, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. The Breakfast Club, I don't know if it's relevant or not. I don't even know if that's the issue, whether they're relevant. I think more so because Angela is such a juggernaut, if you will, in the Democrat Party. She still spews a lot of things to people who are asleep. And that's why we in New Black Media are very important, because it's our job to wake people up. The Democrats and people like Angela's do not want people to wake up at all. They want them to still believe that we're victims and, the only way out is through the Democrats. Well, if that was true, shouldn't we have been out a long time ago, since Black people for a very long time have predominantly voted for the Democrats? So, yeah. Marjorie says, take care of yourself. FBA, BGR, African Diaspora, TBA, PPT. He says, families is getting messy out there. Yes, indeed. HDLC, how you doing? Who else haven't I seen on here? Johan, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Michelle, what's going on with you? Renz, how you doing? He says, give Angela that work, Demetra. Well, I'm just kind of, talking about some of the things that she kind of talked about, I guess. And it's very interesting. Iron Man, how you doing? Says the delineation is bringing out the, hold on, I got something for y'all. It's bringing out the, and Sambo's, Angela is washed. I mean, I don't know how washed she is. She's still a sweetheart of the Democrats. A lot of people love her, and I'm not saying they shouldn't love her, but I just think it's about time to call a spade a spade. It's like you went on there to gaslight people is what you did, and a lot of people voted for Trump because they didn't like what the Democrats were doing, but yeah. Super Patriot, we know slavery didn't happen like that, but that's what she said. And of course, y'all should go check it out for yourself, so that way you can see, what's going on. And Brother Damon, did I say hello to you? Not, if not, hello, hello. Corey, you say, and how you doing? It says, we're not suffering. She will never learn. I mean, and if we are, it's like, to what degree? Is it going to be worse than we already are suffering? Interesting. Brother Reggie says, joyless rye bread and Wig Jr. never have answers. All they do is yell fascism. Yep, absolutely. Who else haven't I seen on here? Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lisa, what's going on with you? Obadiah, long time no see. It says paying taxes and non-citizens getting the benefits. Yeah, absolutely. Johan says the apathy towards us on our own, by our own rather, elected officials is taking and talking heads is astounding. Absolutely. But back in the day, we fell for all that, right? Oh yeah, you go, girl. Oh yeah, you. But like, what are you actually saying that is beneficial to us? Like I said, you said all of that, but you neglected to say all that, you know, we are supposed to be getting and the things that we did. Y'all are all right with everybody else benefiting from it. So it's baffling to me. Rodney, how you doing? Thank you so much for that. Al, how you doing? It says when it comes to religion and politics, Black people are the most stupid. Well, I wouldn't say that we're stupid. I would say the best word I can find is hopeful. Now, some people, it's not just us, because there's a lot of people who are ignorant. That's a better word, or ignorant to politics, because it's not their wheelhouse or whatever the case is. But I think a lot of Black people are just hopeful that, you know, maybe the people we vote for will actually do something for us. And that's another thing she kind of was saying too, that, you know, we kind of got to get involved and stay involved to keep the pressure on. She says a lot of people don't even know who to go to or who to talk to, who to call. But as I'm listening to that, I'm like, why we got to do all of that? When we voted for you, that was the push that you needed to go do the right thing. But we vote for you and put you in office. Why we got to stay on your bumper? Why we got to, hey, I voted for you, you neither. I mean, that should be a given. Nobody wants to keep doing all that. I voted for you because you said you was going to do X, Y, and Z or whatever, and you didn't do it. So the next best thing I could show you is to vote you out next time. But calling and hell no. No. Let's see. Ronnie says that would get, it says BB, what? King Shaw says, and it says, hey, side family. Oh, he said somebody's side family was slave owners, Miss Wright. So he said her side family was slave owners. I ain't heard nothing like that. Baraki says, hope she opened her heart and mind. She's in a position to do something. Let her put her money where her mouth is. Well, she said, you know, she could try, but she don't have that kind of money is what she's saying, right? But it's like Washington does. They did, you know, I think they said that it was like over $60 billion that was given to the migrants to help the migrants from 2021 to end of 23. Now it's probably more than that, right? And millions of migrants came over here during the Biden administration, getting all there was to get, right? So she wouldn't have to dig in her pocket if they were helping American citizens opposed to people who came over here. Mahalia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Child of God, rather. How you doing? Says she's Boule High Level. She's a part of the Links Incorporated Boule Black Women Organization. You have to be invited to join that one. Condoleezza Rice is a part of that group. Never heard of that. I believe she is in a sorority. Is it AKA as well? Don't quote me. Stacy, how you doing? Says, and they really think we're going to vote for that. Oh yeah, because we have in the past, right? James, how you doing? Says, how do we really know that the Republicans neglect Blacks? Every interest group is talking to the president, except for our so-called Black representatives who is playing the game on Blacks' behalf. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Black people are at the bottom of the totem pole under every administration. So if the Republicans weren't neglecting Black people, wouldn't we be better off? See, just because we rebuke the Democrats don't mean that we're praising the Republicans. We know how they feel about us, right? It's over. The Democrats are covert. They're the ones that show up with the fish fries and the twerk and, hey, we really like you. Come show up and vote for us, right? And they too never do anything for us. And the Republicans don't either. So yeah. Who else is on here? And I see all your comments. I just want to make sure I catch up because I know I'm behind. Khalil, how you doing? Says she's a DNC crash test dummy on the Butter Biscuit payroll. I would imagine, yes, she's got a tasty butter biscuit or two on her plate. D. Lewis, how you doing? Says, I woke to the Queen. He says, I woke to the Queen Janice podcast titled Americans Are Being Colonized by Africa. Says she was ripping about how the CBC stole $80 billion of our reparations. She has receipts. Interesting. You know what? I never heard of her before. So maybe I have to check her out. Iron Man says, Demetra, now that's the only cuddly raccoon I will tolerate. Got you. Tahada, how you doing? Says Angela Rye is a non-Black American. She is Caribbean. Is she really? I didn't know that. Mad Dog says most of our people are starting to see what's really going on. They're starting to see the Democrats for what they really are. Yep. And they're trying their hardest to keep the blinders on everybody, right? No. We still cool with Black people. We still good. It's like, we saw what y'all did, especially during the Biden administration. Y'all made sure all the immigrants were good, as many as possible, right? You made sure they were good. And you stepped on the heads of Black people. Black Americans do that. Even moving them into our neighborhoods when we're saying we don't want that. How you taking care of them in our neighborhoods and you have not done anything for us, right? They didn't care. They didn't care. Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, who's now an independent, right? He trying to divorce himself from the Democratic Party when he was with the foolishness too, right? They didn't care. So yeah. Let's see. Brother Perry, how you doing? Says, what more can they do to us that they haven't done to us already? I'm not scared. There you go, right? We're desensitized. GT Parker, what's going on? Says, to hell with both parties. When has either benefited us? I'm just saying, right? One who cares. How you doing? I'm so happy that you are here. All right. So let's see. Who else haven't I seen? I see you guys' comments, but I want to catch up. Yanni, how you doing? It says, it's storming here in Louisiana. Y'all be safe out there. Yes, y'all be careful because I heard that Louisiana is going to get, some sort of a storm. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I did hear about it. So y'all stay safe. Most definitely. Brother Reggie says, Angela does her podcast with Andrew Gillum. Remember him? Yes, I do. Says married with kids, but got caught in a hotel with, hold on. I got the sound effects for you. Got caught in a hotel with it was a few in a hotel with him, but I guess all is forgiven now. I guess. I don't know. Only Pamela's way. Long time no see. Donovan is around, but he comes on Sunday and Tuesday, and he's always welcome to come on whenever he wants. But Donovan is usually pretty busy. So, but Donovan is still here. I haven't, strangled him yet. Teresa, how you doing? Says the illegals are their only hope to stay in power. They are so desperate. Yeah. Again, imagine with me. Imagine if Kamala got in office. Do y'all really believe Black people, Black Americans rather, would have been better off under Kamala? Do you really believe that? Because they want everybody to believe that the whole country would have been better off. But let's just, dwindle it down to Black Americans. Do y'all think we would be better off? That's what they tell us. Oh, we tried to tell you, should have voted for Kamala. But do y'all really think we would have been better off under Kamala's presidency? I don't think so. I know so. Faquan, how you doing? Albie Chill, what's going on with you? Let's see. Antonio, how you doing? Says they're crashing out because if they don't move the needle with us, then they will be replaced and out of a job. Well, yeah, it looks like a lot of them are beginning to lose their jobs, right? Joy Reid was one of them. They're like, yeah, you're no longer useful. GTE says, only thing I'm voting for is reparations. Same. Sherry, how you doing? Says the only difference is the Republicans do not ask for our vote. The Democrats do, and we freely give it to them. And they help others, people that are not citizens of America. And nowadays, they really ain't even asking for it like that. Like the last election cycle, they really started to ask for it because they saw that a lot of Black Americans was like, no, I ain't going to do it this time. And that's when they brought Obama out. And y'all know what he said to us, right? Or to Black men, especially. Clowness, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Damon says, on a financial note, Trump and the Republicans voted to not go with the CBDC Big Brother will have to complete control of your finances. And what is that exactly? I probably know, but I don't. Who else haven't I seen on here? Mickey, how you doing? Says we be in bread lines under what? Brahmina's regime. Is that Kamala? Oh, and David said it would have been a ish storm under Kamala. Yep, and they were very unapologetic about it, right? Fresh Air, how you doing? Said let's see who comes to. He says through. I think he meant for Black Americans Reparations March. Good time. Now they want us to march for them. Yeah, I ain't gonna do it. Marjorie says giving that money away to slumlords who house the illegal migrants and pocketed the money for their own. He says addiction. Most of those Chicago slumlords are addicts. They use poor people. Yeah, and they kicked a lot of people out of the who were already living there, from what I understand, out of the apartments and things like that, because they were getting more money from the government to house the immigrants. That's a cold piece right there, boy. That's a cold game. Extreme X, how you doing? He says, no, Kamala wasn't going to deport anyone. She said it herself. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The Democrats, Ricky, Roland, Angela, Joy, all of them, they never want to talk about that. They never want to talk about that at all. What illegal immigration was doing to America, but more so to Black Americans. They never want to talk about that. I wonder why. Because if they talk about it, then then you're not asleep anymore, right? They want to continue talking about the horrible things Trump is doing. Oh, Trump, fascist Trump, this, Trump, that, you're going back on the plantation, you're next. But they never talk about how we got here. You know? Interesting. Faquan says, imagine a whole system set up to ethically cleanse FBA from the America we built. Yep. Don't want to talk about that. Terrence, how you doing? Says, I'm happy Trump got in there, but I'd rather see him in there than Harris. She made it worse for FBA people. Yeah. But again, they never want to talk about that. Never. Reginald, how you doing? Says, what about Epstein files? I mean, you know what? It looks like the MAGA crowd is not letting that go, because a lot of them, that was Trump himself said it, right? Trump was like, yeah, they're going to, when he was campaigning, they're going to get the Epstein files, see what's in there. Donald Trump Jr. said it, and a whole host of other, right wingers and MAGA folks. They all was like, yeah, we're going to get those Epstein files and we're going to see what's in it. But then all of a sudden, what Epstein files? There's no Epstein files. No, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Even though Pam Bondi was like, it's on my desk. What is this itch you speak of? Now, of course, she tried to clarify it, but they're like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am and sir. Show us the Epstein files, right? So I think MAGA, they're not going to let that go. I think we're going to see some very interesting things take place in that base, because Trump is, and I was telling my daughter, I said, I think Trump is at the point now where he's like, screw the base. If you don't support me, then screw you. Because he's like, I don't even really need the base now, right? I got the Supreme Court, I got House, I got the Senate. We run this joint. Screw you supporters. Y'all just keep buying that funky cologne that I'm selling, them ugly shoes that I'm hawking out there to everybody, the Trump Bible, y'all go buy that too, and all that other stuff. Y'all, that's what y'all do. Don't worry about what I'm doing in a big house, okay? Don't worry about Big Daddy. So, people are having a rude awakening. So very interesting. Carrie, did I say hello to? Not hello. Skipping on down. Pamela says, first it was Ricky, now Angela. They're both useless. Yeah, I think they all probably get together probably once a week and said, okay, this is what we're going out there with now. These are the talking points we got to sell to everybody. And you really got to sell it, Well, thank you, Fresh Air, for pressing the like button. I love and appreciate you for that. Brother Reggie says, Kamala wasn't going to deport anyone, and she wasn't going to do anything specific for Black people. She said it all. Sure did. But then she tried to kind of like backstep a little bit. But We heard you the first time. Ursula says FBAs are the secret sauce. Everyone is keeping a secret. That's why the people who are not Black Americans are getting fired. Yeah, and then they're also Corinne Jean-Pierre. She divorced the Democrats too after she sat up there for nearly 4 years lying for Biden and stuff. Now she's, oh, well, you know, my eyes are open now and I'm an independent. You know, I was like, girl, if you don't stop. DJ says, at least they are holding Trump accountable. Dems are not ever accountable. You know, that's a good point, which is kind of like interesting because they are holding them accountable because they've, you know, drunk the Kool-Aid for the most part. Everything Trump did, they're like, well, it makes sense. You know, now there's some of them out there that's like, well, he said it was no foul. Let's just keep it moving. And there's some people like, hell no. Because we heard about what was going on Lolita Island, right? That was Epstein's, I guess, the name of the island. And it was messing with kids. That's not something you could just say, well, we just going to let that slide, right? There's some people out there, they might run up into the Capitol on January 6th or whatever the case is. But there's some people who draw the line at kids. It's like prison. Like, I've never been, thank God. But I heard, you know, there's people in there for a whole lot of things, but when they hear you up in there for messing with kids and like beating up on women and stuff like that, like, yeah, it ain't gonna be a good time for you, you know. So people still have some sort of decency, even in debauchery. Gearhead, how you doing? You says nobody who voted for Trump is going to vote for Democrats over Epstein. Okay, Devin, how you doing? So you speaking to somebody else, but hello. Damon says a lot of powerful people were doing Diddy Epstein freak-offs on that list, allegedly, right? That's the allegation, and they want to see you all. Yeah, brother Reggie, who gonna check me, boo? Oh, that's Trump. Lisa, you said I finally made it to your live stream. Yes, you did, and I'm so happy that you did. Joe Bowl, how you doing? He says Trump threw his supporters under the bus and then backed up on them. Yeah, he's like, I got the power. I got the juice. I got the juice now. You know, what did Denzel say in Training Day? I'm King Kong. So, but you know, the people do have the power. The midterms are coming up. They can say, all right, you threw us the middle finger. We're going to throw you the middle finger too. So that's why I said this is getting very interesting. Percy, how you doing? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Angela Destiny, how you doing? Long time no see. Let's see who else. Brother Don, did I say hello to you already? If not, hello. He says, I just cursed this fat Latina woman out on the bus for telling an elder, F you. Well, she probably had it coming, I'd imagine. Yeah, we have to be careful how we speak to the elders, right? Jay, he says the city of Chicago about to be over $1 billion budget deficit, and the Chicago public schools over $700 million deficit. We're in a state of emergency. Yeah, and aren't they going to be laying off teachers and things like that because of that? That's what I heard. Yeah. So why is Chicago in such a deficit? Might it have anything to do with the immigrants? That it sounds like Brandon Johnson is still, you know, marching up and down for. He's going to protect them. He's going to fight Tom Homan and Trump if they try to go up in there and all of that. It's like, yeah, he needs to be done. I'm sorry. And if he get back up in there, it's a big shoulder shrug to the people of Chicago, but not Jessica Jackson and all of them and flip Chicago red, because they're like, nah, we've learned our lesson. He needs to go. And everybody else needs to get behind them and getting rid of Brandon Johnson, because he's a huge part of the problem. Pamela says, like, for real, why are they not releasing the files? Well, I mean, the speculation is maybe some people that are near and dear to them are in it, and they're in it doing some things that they wouldn't be proud of, I'm assuming, because everybody knows that they used to, I guess, know that there was Epstein files, but now they're saying, who said that? So yeah, Brother Eddie says, honestly, I think The list is a bunch of nothing. What is it? A list of people who knew Epstein means nothing now. If there's videos or real proof of people messing with kids, that's different. Okay, but just think with me here. Just think with me here for a moment, right? Diddy, the feds, and I don't know if y'all heard about forget her first name, but Comey, who is James Comey's daughter. He was the director of the FBI. She was, I guess, the lead on trying Diddy. She got fired. Okay. If you followed the trial of Diddy, that, the federal government picked up, they was all up in that man's text from 2011, 2010. We be thinking we getting rid of text messages, but they found all the text messages, right? They found all the videos of this, that, and the other. So if they found that on Diddy, might they have found that kind of stuff on these people who are allegedly in these Epstein files? Well, all of a sudden their inch-high private eye skills have left the building. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's going to be interesting. Sagittarius goddess says, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Didn't he say that? Damon, he says, Miss K, FBAs have been living in this American open air prison. Come on now. Brother Reddy says, I do think Pam Bondi gaslit the public. She might have, but it's just it's so dramatic of a turn. They're on my desk. And then Trump says, they don't exist. No file. So somewhere in between there is the truth, because somebody lying. Even Kash Patel, before he became the director of the FBI, he was all over the place talking about, well, we need to find out about those Epstein files, and now your mouth is closed, homie. Why? DJ says California is too okay. Undisputed Truth. How you doing? Says Trump is a racist, but he saved Black America from the immigrant invasion that was crushing the Black population. Period. And I think that's how a lot of people see it. Forget your emotions and what you're being told to be scared of. You going on a plantation. That mattered to Black Americans. And what's infuriating to me is there are a lot of people who don't care. They don't care that Black Americans were getting crushed on the immigration. All they care about is, Trump is the boogeyman, and he might be. I wouldn't want to run into the dude in a back alley nowhere. But what he is doing is important for us. Because again, we are hearing about people saying, now I could get a job. Now I'm working. Before I was shut out of construction or whatever it is, right? So yeah. Sherry says, I just can't not believe how the Democrats are crashing out and going broke for these people that not even the citizens of America, while expecting Black Americans to vote for them. Yeah, because a lot of people speculate that they were supposed to be the buffer class, right? We got Black Americans in the can already. We ain't got to worry about them too much. Now let's get the immigrants on board, perhaps figure out a way for them to vote, however they were going to try to do that. And then, hey, they'll be loyal to us. But the proof in it was in the pudding that theory didn't necessarily jive, because most of the Latinos, I would say half of them anyway, right? A little more than half voted for Trump. So even that backfired for the Democrats. All that, immigrants were getting, especially Latinos, all that they were getting, they still overwhelmingly voted for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. So there you have it. Mad Dog says Brandon Johnson is out there acting a damn fool. Yes, he is. Lisa says that's why Chicago is in a deficit, because of him giving it to those illegals. He says Brandon Johnson has got to go. Yep. Brother Randy says if Trump did something terrible linked to Epstein, why didn't the Democrats release the info years ago? Biden and the Dems had the info. The speculation is because it just ain't Trump on there. They said it's some Democrats that are on there. I heard. Now I don't know how true it is. Okay. What's his name? Alan Dershowitz is on there. And a few other notables in the Democrat Party, right? Or Democrat shields and things. So that's why they're thick as thieves, right? They're all thick as thieves. We the public, we think that there's a side, right? All the Democrats, not saying this about you, Brother Reggie, but the Democrats, oh, they're the angels, right? They would never be on Epstein Island. But those Republicans, oh yeah, they all, if there was a thing, right? If this list is going on, they're all on the list. When I say all, I mean from all walks of life on this list. And perhaps people went over there just to have a cocktail or something like that. But it sounds like some people was over there doing some things they wasn't supposed to be doing. I guess we may never know, but maybe we will. Simo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Terrence says, who's down bad worse, Johnson or Bass? That's a good question. I would say that is probably Johnson, only because he's been in there longer than Bass. Maybe, just maybe a little bit longer, I guess. And he's giving a lot of money away, but they're probably about the same if you really think about it, you know. Donovan, he says Los Angeles in $1 billion deficit, but they still finding money to give cash to illegals. Well, allegedly, it's coming from philanthropists, right? It's these private donations. They're getting this money from, and they're going to put it on the Angelino card, and then they're going to give the Angelino card to these migrants, immigrants that cannot leave the house because they're afraid that ICE is going to get them. And one of their partners have been gaffled up already. So that income is missing from the household. But again, this is coming from the Democrats who love Black women, right? They just love Black women, the backbone of the Democrat Party. Well, if you also believe the statistics, the Black woman is without her man more so than any woman in the United States. Ain't she missing an income? Could she not, especially in Los Angeles, California, use the Angelino card? But, and I'm going to say this, I'm a Black woman, okay? Been there for 54 years. That Black woman that will continue to line up and cape for the Democrats is so silly. She's silly enough to go and vote for more of that, even to her own demise, as immigrants are getting an Angelino card because their partner is missing their other income, but she a single mama to the tune of what, 75, 76%? Yeah, okay. Alice says, what does that rattling sound supposed to mean? This here? Envision Tinkerbell. But imagine if Tinkerbell was a man. That's what that's supposed to mean. You know, because certain things I can't really say here, but I think that says it all. All right, let me skip down a little bit because I'll be talking. Bernard, how you doing? Says a lot of politicians may have been at those parties but didn't participate in sexual activity, but guilty by association. I agree. Maybe they were just like, Lolita Island got some nice pineapples here. I don't know. I don't think everybody that was there did something bad because Michael Jackson was there. I love Michael Jackson. I just couldn't imagine him doing anything bad. So I don't think everybody that went did something bad. I think the people that we heard did things that were bad. Those are probably the people who maybe allegedly dabbled in something bad, right? And some of those people are in Washington, and some of those people are like, what list? It doesn't exist. Yeah, I'll be what bike? Pamela says, first of all, Kamala lied about her race and had no policies except giggling her way through a conversation like a flake. And then going after giggling, it was Trump, bad Trump, Trump, Trump. Yep, that's all she had. That's all she had, right? DJ says, Obama got both files. I don't know. Kira, how you doing? Says if Trump was in the files, the Democrats would have been released. That I need us to really think here, because we really have fallen for the facade. Is my book over here? No, my book is not here. The Communist. Oh, here it is. Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. Y'all can listen to it on YouTube. You can listen to this on YouTube. It's free. Okay. So I referenced this book because we're thinking if Trump is on the list, then the Democrats would have released it, eluding that the Democrats aren't on the list either, right? because that would be the leverage for the Democrats. But in this book, they're like, and I'm paraphrasing, they're saying, suckers, y'all really think it's about politics, race, religion, gender, and all these other things that divide us. They're like, no, it's about the money, honey. It's about the capitalists. It's about capitalism. It's about the machine. It's about the means, the ones that own the means of production, which is the bourgeoisie. Now, I know y'all think y'all aunties and your cousins and your mamas and them, y'all, she bougie. Nah, that ain't bougie, boo. The bourgeoisie is people you'll never meet, okay? The bourgeoisie is your Jeff Bezos, the oligarchies as well, right? And your Elons and all of them, right? They're the ones that own the means of production, and they make us think that we have a choice by, oh, well, if you're a Democrat, you could vote for a Democrat. Well, if you're a Republican, you could vote for, a Republican. Oh, I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. This is all by design, so we don't focus on the machine. But if you believe what this book is saying, it's saying, oh, the machine gonna come down eventually. Because right now, it says, right now we're trying to figure out the worker, right? The proletariat. If they like maybe throw a monkey wrench in the machine to kind of like trip up the machine and try to break it up a little bit, not realizing it's not the machine, because the ones that control the machine, they'll make another one. You have to get to the people who are making these machines. So anyway, I got 9 more minutes. I hope that helps. Lance said there's a list of PDF files. He says Epstein Island was known for that leak. That's what they say, right? Allegedly. Just Me, how you doing? Says, why didn't the Dems release them? They had 4 years to do it. I hope all that I just said helps, right? But welcome anyway. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? I see everybody, but I want to make sure I get everybody before I get out of here. Yeah, Tahada, allegedly Bill Clinton has been to Lolita Island. I've seen a picture or two. That's kind of, does Hillary know you was over there doing that? If it's real, right? I don't know. Roz, hello, how you doing? Who else? Yeah, Chuck Schumer. Brother Don, I heard, was on there. Gearhead says Epstein's own lawyer asked him if he had dirt on Trump. They Sorry about that. I don't know why I froze. Sometimes it does that. If it freezes again, just bear with me. But we're about to get out of here anyway. That is so weird. Hopefully it doesn't do that again. African Native, he says, vote for the Black Panther Party. Which one? Because there's a whole lot of them. Simone, where have you been? Molly Cakes, what's going on with you? Let's see, just skipping on down before I freeze again. Well, how you doing? Says exactly, Trump won because many of us Black people was not happy with Biden, and Kamala was no better choice. Angela Rye is still caping for the Democrat Party. Yep, I think she will always do that. Night Rider, how you doing? One Unique Monique, what's going on with you? Says Pam Bondi will release the list next year when elections start heating up. I doubt it. Edwin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Monifa, how you doing? Mr. X, hope all is well with you. Wendo, what's going on? He says, once again, they're dehumanizing us, but everyone else, they're the princess of the ball. And what we don't bleed red so we can suffer instead. Okay. Big Rich, how are you? He says, I truly believe that if the list comes out, Israel will lose its grip over the United States. Remember, they control our politician. That is a fact, Jack. LaShonda, how you doing? So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here before I start freezing up again. Listen, I'm off tomorrow and Saturday, unless something jumps off that I need to come on here, but most definitely catch Donovan and I on Sunday. as we will have a great conversation with you all. In the meantime, you all be blessed. If you found value in what we did today, there's ways to donate to the channel. If not, at the very least, please like and subscribe, and everything in between. Love and appreciate all y'all dearly. I will see y'all later. Peace. Brother Reggie, you tripping. Talking about what if Angela's on the list? Gotta go.